Right, I have some company here with me in the studio. On BBC Radio Wales, she has been a familiar face and voice to us here in Wales for nearly 15 years now, which is crazy because she still looks 21. I don't know how she manages it. She is a singer, she's an actress, a presenter, and so much more. It is the wonderful Sophie Evans.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me.
How are you, Sophie?
I'm very well, thank you. Just loving being in the studio with you.
Now, you always have so much on your plate, so how are things?
Things are really good. Obviously, the main thing in my life right now is being a mama, and that takes up so much time. I can't explain how busy life is with a baby. If you have kids, you'll know exactly what I mean. But I'm still trying to stay in the world of entertainment, singing, presenting, whatever comes my way. But obviously managing it around a baby is different to how it was, 6-7 years ago. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Lovely Jack, keeping you on your toes.
Very much on my toes. And he's just everywhere, like smashing stuff all the time. He just finds danger in every single thing in the house. So you just got to have eyes everywhere. But I wouldn't change it for the world. It's the best.
And as you say, as a performer, we're used to antisocial working hours, travelling a lot. So how do you find that balance?
I think I'm in a privileged position where, I don't have to worry too much at the moment. So if something comes in and I really want to do it, as long as somebody can have Jack, like my husband, or we're lucky with the childcare we have, if it comes in and I really want to do it and I can make it work, I will do it. But if there's something that comes in I'm not really sure and it'd be a bit of a stress to make it work, I kind of don't worry about it anymore. Whereas I used to be like, I need to make this work, I need to please my agent, I need to do that. Now I just want a happy, easy life. I want to do the things I love, and the rest just falls into place.
And just strike a nice balance.
Yeah.
So how is your lovely husband, Ellis?
Oh, he's so lovely. He's just, him. He's a lovely, lovely man, but also an amazing dad and an excellent rugby player. He's just got it all going for him. But this year is his last year. He's retired.
Yes.
He's retiring, and it's going to be a big change. So he's going to be a bit of a house husband. So this might be where the balance then changes again for me to then maybe take on a few more jobs.
Of course.
So we'll see. But he's doing really good, yeah.
But not only is he a great sportsman and has a very intelligent head on his shoulders, but he has the nerve to be quite musical as well, doesn't he?
He is, actually. I don't know if you follow us on social media. We did a little bit in lockdown where he was kind of playing guitar and I would sing. But he can sing as well. And he thinks he's not that good. But he loves a bit of Dear Evan Hansen, loves a bit of Hamilton. And in the house, I'm like, right, let me just work on your breathing a little bit with you. We could get you to a level where I reckon I could get you a Fiero audition in Wicked. Like, I reckon
that.
He's really pally with the resident director. They had a really lovely relationship, and I think she'd give him a chance. I really do.
Ellis Jenkins.
I'm not even joking now. I'm being
on
serious.
The West End.
Can you imagine? That'd be so funny.
I'd be there in the front row.
I'd be there backstage.
I'd be watching.
Loving life.
Now, catch-up's done. Let's talk musical theatre. You rose to fame, of course, all those years ago on that Andrew Lloyd Webber show, The Search for Dorothy. You were one of the standout stars. I watched every episode religiously, Sophie. Looking back now, what was that experience like?
Do you know what? It's a blur. It feels like a different life, feels like a different person. I was 16, 17 on there. I mean, that's a child. If I look at 16, 17-year-olds now, I'm like, wow, like you are literally a child. And I can't really describe it as anything other than bonkers. I was doing my GCSEs in school. The audition came up. It was in the Millennium Stadium, actually. We heard it on a lane page on Sunday, so all very, very stagey.
Yeah.
And just went thinking nothing of it. Next thing, I'm living in London, friends with Andrew Lloyd Webber, meeting all these people. And then I'm in a show. It just happened in the blink of an eye. But I look back with such fond memories, and I think I was thrown so in the deep end that it just worked for me. Maybe it wouldn't work for everybody, but for me it just worked.
And of course back then we didn't have streaming services. We barely had social media. Everybody watched TV. So how was it all of a sudden to have so many people recognise you?
Odd, very odd. I was a different person to who I am now, I think. So I've never been shy or meek, but definitely less outgoing. I was definitely a little bit more reserved. I'm very much a home girl. So walking down my local high street, and I already knew the people, but they were just, oh, you're flying the flag for us, thank you. We're loving seeing you on there, putting the valleys on the map. That was just such a lovely feeling, really, really nice. But then when you're out and about and people were looking at you having your food, and you think, do they know me? Do they not? And they'd come, can I have a picture? That was odd. I mean, that's worn off now.
Yeah.
It's gone away now. No one gives two beeps about me anymore. But back then it was quite intense.
That's not true, Sophie.
No.
You still have many, many fans, let me tell you.
Yeah, for different things now though. Do you know what? My baby gets recognised before I do now. I'm walking around the park or I'm in Tesco and they're like, that's Jack. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, I've made a famous baby.
Well, as you say, life changes and you're a podcaster now.
Oh, yes.
And Jack really is the topic of that podcast, isn't he? Tell me about it.
He is, yeah. As you mentioned earlier, thank you for doing this. I am pushing the presenting thing at the moment. I really love chatting, meeting new people. I like being myself, which is funny. I get a bit of imposter syndrome when I'm in a show because I don't think I'm that natural of an actress, whatever. But the podcast, yes, me and one of my best friends from school both had children this year. And we talk all the time about funny stories with the boys and, what it's like being a mother, the lifestyle change. We thought, why don't we just start a podcast rather than just saying it on voice notes to each other? Let's see if people want to listen to it. And it's done really, really, really well. Like we've had 10,000 streams in 4 episodes, which I don't know what to go off, but I do think that's quite good.
People are tuning in. Considering
it's us two in the house with like a little microphone. I'm editing it on GarageBand. I'm just probably doing things so much harder than I need to be, but it's doing really well. So it's very rustic, very, very rustic, but it's called the Two Sophies Baby Mamas.
And people love that. People just love hearing real life stories and they can relate to you.
Yeah, I think, at the moment there's no glossiness on it at all. No one's sponsoring us. We're not making any money at the moment. So it's very much just two girls chatting and people are listening and say, I'm resonating with that. That's really, really funny, blah, blah, blah. So just have those like interactions with a new community of people, mothers, parents. It isn't just, fathers listening to. We got Ellis and my friend's partner to come on the most recent episode and that one's done really well. So I think men are listening to that one going, yeah, do you know what? I know what the boys are talking about because we felt like that when we had the baby. So yeah, it's really fun, really fun.
So, Soph, when most people are 18, they are thinking what university to go to, maybe going out for the first time. But you were making your West End debut.
I was.
In London.
How weird.
What an incredible achievement to start with. So how was that experience?
Yeah, do you know what? Again, I think if it had happened to me now, if I'd had, 10 years in a career, like a teacher or something, and now my moment came and I'm now in a show, it would probably hit me very differently. But at 18, I just took it by the horns. I didn't look back. I did struggle with the actual move to London. That was a big culture shock for me in terms of everything's just so fast paced. There's so many people just like fighting for the same thing. But the actual being on the stage, doing the show I just absolutely loved it. I can remember that first show. It was unbelievable. I don't know how many people came up from the valleys, coach loads and coach loads. Edward's coaches did, like the day trips they do.
Yeah.
So it felt like I had all of Wales in the audience because I did a Tuesday show every week initially because I was alternate Dorothy and then I took over later on. But the Tuesday was Welsh Tuesdays. And they even put the show half an hour earlier. So the show started at 7 p.m. so that people could get the last buses and trains back to Cardiff because they knew how many Welsh people would be
coming to support you.
So I felt very special. I felt very nurtured. Because as you say, I was 18. I felt really looked after and I look back with nothing but fond memories.
Fond memories.
Yeah.
And The Wizard of Oz, a great show.
Yeah.
And all of that came from the leap you took to go on Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
That show, which I believe in lockdown, you celebrated 10 years since that show.
We did.
And so many of you girls are still going strong with incredible careers. How amazing is that to see?
It is. And I think that's why that show was so special. They really did find people with natural raw talent. There was some girls on there that had done 3 years training as well. So it wasn't just people like myself who came from school. There were people there that had been to GSA and Arts Ed and Mount Fu for 3 years. And as you say, like Lauren's done really well. Danielle's moved to America. She's done really, really well. The girl who won. If you don't know these people, just Google them. If you didn't watch, you're like, who's Lauren? Who's Danielle? But yeah, I would say everyone went on to do something pretty special. Yeah.
Well, Soph, stay where you are. It's time to hear your beautiful voice. This is a lovely track off your EP Icons. It's from the musical We Will Rock You. Enjoy No One But You. No One But You, from the musical We Will Rock You, sung there by the wonderful Sophie Evans, who's here with me on BBC Radio Wales. That's a beautiful song, Soph.
It is. I really, really love the show We Will Rock You. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I've seen her a couple of times, and I know they've changed it up recently, and I haven't seen the new production. But it is a show that if it came around and wanted me, I'd be open to it.
She'd be there.
I would, yeah.
Now, Soph, what comes to mind when I tell you that pink goes good with green?
Oh, I don't know, a little show called, I don't know, maybe Wicked, something
Just
like that.
a smash hit show called Wicked. You played one of the leading ladies in for years in the West End in London. So tell us, how did your journey start with Wicked and when did that come about?
Gosh, now Wicked for me is the ultimate musical. There'll be people that disagree, but for me it was the show. I went to watch it when I was 15, I think, with my nan, my auntie and my mother. We went up on the bus and it just blew my head off. It just, the overture started, the dragon at the top started moving, blowing smoke out of his nose, and the monkeys come down, and I was like, this is amazing. I can't actually cope. Like, I used to sit in my house, I had not a laptop, I had a computer up my attic, YouTube, Idina Menzel, Defying Gravity on repeat. Like, I just obsessed with it.
Over again.
Yes, but even saying that though, when I watched the show, I knew that I was a Glinda. I knew I wasn't an Elphaba. Maybe I will be when I'm older, but at the age of 15, I was like, I want to be in the show and I think I want to be Glinda. I just thought it was such a funny part, such amazing vocals. The music moves me in ways that not many other shows do. I just fell in love with it. So, fast forward to when I'm 24, so 8 years later, audition comes through my agent for Wicked. And I'm like, wow, I can't even believe I'm going to get an audition. This is just mad. Didn't think I would get it. I think this is just my mantra is always this, you're never going to get it, you're never going to get it. I need to believe myself before. Went in, did the first round. I think I sang First Time in Forever from Frozen, but in a British accent, because Glinda's British, in the UK version. They seemed to really like me, so that was cool. And they were like, on the day, like, yeah, we're definitely going to have you back with material, Glinda, because I went in as like a blind audition, so they didn't really know who they were seeing me for. I went in dressed in pink to make them realise.
Good plan.
Who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I actually wore stiletto heels, which was the worst decision ever. But I think it played into the role because I clip-clopped in like a little pony. And literally Jim Arnold, who casts Wicked, said, yeah, maybe don't wear heels next time. I was like, yeah, I think you're right. Because I honestly just made such a scene. But it was like part of the part,
it
it was funny. Then third audition came and then I had the final. That came and went, and I put it to the back of my mind. They film it and they send it over to the Americans and they kind of get a final say on it. And I just thought, it's never going to happen. So you've did a really good job. You got to the finals. Just be really proud of yourself. I'm very much like that. Do your best and don't worry about it. And then I had the phone call off my agent and I thought, I can't believe this is happening. I remember bursting into tears. She said, you've got the part, you've got Glinda in London. I burst into tears. Like,
where were you when you got the call?
I was in my mother's house. I'd just come off tour with Lord of the Dance. And I don't know if you've ever done a long tour, when you come off, you usually have a bit of a come down, you get ill and you just have a few weeks where you don't really know who you are, what you're doing. And I was just lying on the couch. I had my two parents' dogs cutting into me. I was really being quite lazy. And I was on my own, and I remember standing up, looking in the mirror at myself, like, you've done it. I can't believe I've done it. Rung my mother in this absolute hysterical mood. She thought the dog had died or something. She was like, what's happened? I was like, I've got the part. I've got Glinda in London. And we both cry. And she's somewhere. They think something's wrong wherever she's with. It was just a whole crazy few hours. And then the realisation of, oh my gosh, I actually have to do this. I have to do 8 shows a week as Glinda. Yeah, the script came through the post in a few days' time. You have a music call then with the musical director, and you can't believe that these people believe that you can do it as much as you thought you could. It's an amazing feeling.
Well, I watched you a couple of times as Glinda,
yes.
And you smashed it. You were fantastic. For those who have yet to see the show, it's an interesting story, isn't it? An interesting perspective. So remind us what it's about.
Yeah, so Wicked is about, basically it's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. You've got the role of Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz, and then Glinda is the Good Witch. And it just shows you them in school, and basically how to not judge a book by its cover, because the Wicked Witch, why did she become wicked, is the story. And then there's this friendship between Glinda and Elphaba, which is unlikely. They become best friends. They go through a lot together. And it just shows you how, Glinda's perceived as good, Elphaba's perceived as bad. But really, when you get underneath everything, no one's kind of anything. No one's particularly good. No one's particularly bad. They're just young people that have been thrown into this world. And it's about friendship and, the trials and tribulations of relationships. And the main thing for me was always like female empowerment, because I don't want to give too much away, but you know, when you get to the end of the show, Glinda and Elphaba have been through so much, but friendship prevails, and just supporting the woman, your friend, is the kind of end goal. And it's quite emotional. You know, I used to cry all the time in the last song, which is For Good. I used to like literally break down all the time. One, for feeling so lucky to be there, but also the meaning behind the song, and that relationship I had with my Elphabas was unbreakable. You know, that bond, because you're going through something that not many other people have experienced. So yeah, it's an amazing show and just fantastic music. I love it.
In terms of you actresses who have played those roles, am I right in saying there's quite a sisterhood? Did you speak with maybe a Glinda who had been before you, and have you spoken with someone who's filled your shoes after you left?
Yeah, I have. So the lady that was Glinda before me, Susie Mathers, she's Australian. She had done it for a couple of years in the UK and Australia. And what you get to do before you do your first show is like what they call a shadow show. So you follow around the character you're going on to play behind the scenes and backstage, and we had a day together, and she just was giving me all the tips and tricks. You know, this is where we have like 5-minute breaks, so this is where I tend to take off my shoes just to give my feet a bit of a break, take a couple of sips of water, have a Jakeman's, you know, whatever you need to do. So that is really, really useful, and then you pass on the baton to the next one. You get a Actually, the girl who took over from me, she had done it before as cover, so I don't think she did a show shadow, because she knew what she was doing. But, you know, it's just passing on that baton. I know Sarah O'Connor now, who's in the tour version, you know, I just messaged her being like, I'm so happy for you. And I think I just typed a couple of little things like, you know, you'll get used to that, you'll get used to this. And it's just nice to, you know, to share those experiences, because there's maybe 8 to 10 women in the UK that have ever done it. And we all share the same experience, and we all think it's really, really hard.
Yeah, it's quite a legacy.
Yeah.
Now, we have to talk about a very important concert. That's happening at the end of this month.
Yes.
A homecoming concert.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
So I did a lot of amateur dramatics in my local theatre in Treorchy, Parkendale Theatre, and I've wanted to go back and do something in the main theatre. I've done little cabarets and things there, but I wanted to really push myself and do something in the amazing red-seated, beautiful theatre.
It's
We're
beautiful.
so lucky to have it. You know, I've been to see other people do solo gigs there, and I thought, why not? Let me do my own. And this opportunity came around with the Rhondda Arts Festival Trust to put on a homecoming, Sophie Evans homecoming show on June 30th. And I can't wait. It's going to be really good.
You've got some special guests.
I do. I have some lovely, you know some of them. Our beautiful Siwan Henderson will be there. Tom Hyer, who's another Valleys boy. He's just from Merthyr, so it'd be nice to bring him over the mountain. Lee Gilbert, who is just a Valleys legend now. He's done the rounds.
Yeah.
And then my absolute fave, Bronwyn Lewis, a Radio Wales treasure.
We love Bronwyn Lewis.
Yes, so she's gonna come along as well, and we're gonna do some songs together, and then she's gonna maybe do some solos, and yeah, maybe a group number at the end. Who knows? Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can I please share with you my favourite Sophie Evans story?
Oh gosh, I'm nervous.
We were in the wings at the London Palladium, as you do, casually waiting to record our audition for Britain's Got Talent with Welsh of the West End. I was a nervous wreck. I'd barely sung in 2 years because of the pandemic, and here we were in this iconic venue, and the buzzers were so loud. Simon Cowell and the other judges were sat there, and I think you could tell that I was a bag of nerves. And let me tell you, everybody, Sophie Evans, she stepped up to the mark and she said, listen guys, we need to get it together. We need to get out there. We can sing well. We need to show them what we can do.
Yeah.
And that's the exact kick we needed just before singing.
Do you know what? That's funny I say that, because I've struggled with my own performance anxiety, like massively. I've had to do some real soul searching a couple of years ago. So I think I was just telling myself that as well, because, you know, that Britain's Got Talent experience was so odd. You know, we're all professional singers. It's not like I was 16 when I did Over the Rainbow and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, we do this for a living. We stand on stages. We sing to audiences. So when we're all stood backstage, like, questioning, are we good enough to be here? I'm thinking, but hang on a minute now. We know we can sing. I said we can only control what we can control.
Yes.
We know we can sing. We know we're all good performers. We're all professional. We've rehearsed. We've done all we can do. If they don't like us, that's on them. And I think it's just about like taking back the power and going, they might not enjoy what we do, but we're going to do it well. But it's just personal preference if they want us to continue on.
100%.
And they bloody loved it.
Well, we got a standing ovation. So thanks to your pep talk, Sophie Evans.
Yeah.
We got through.
Yeah, mad experience. I'm glad we did it though.
So am I. We had the best times and we've had some amazing experiences since then.
We have.
I'm very glad. Well, Sophie, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a joy to speak with you. Thank you for being here on BBC Radio Wales. And all the best with everything you have coming up, especially that Park and Dare gig. Homecoming with Sophie Evans. Be there, everybody. But I'm going to play you out with another song. Is that okay?
Oh, yes, please.
Because I love your voice. Here's one more. Here's Sophie Evans with Get Happy.